In this video, we're going to be focusing on the use of persuasive writing. Persuasive writing is the type of writing when you're trying to change somebody's mind or sway their opinion. It's used in a whole variety of texts: essays, feature articles, reports, advertisements, speeches, posters. Any exposition text generally requires persuasion. There are a number of ways of persuading. This video deals with 5 key ones. That is the use of high modality, authoritative statements, repetition, pronouns, and rhetorical questions. And you can remember this through the use of the mnemonic Harper. Firstly, let's deal with authoritative statements. That is the use of statistics and evidence to support your point. By using statistics and evidence, it makes your position more believable. It shows that you've used logic and reason to arrive at your position. Let's look at these 2 examples. Sentence 1. Species extinction has reached alarming levels in Australia. There's nothing wrong with this sentence, but it doesn't employ any statistic to support the statement. In the second sentence, according to research conducted by the Australian Wildlife Organisation, 30 mammals have become extinct since the European invasion. This is a cause for alarm. In this way, we've included a statistic, underlined in blue, but it's also coming from a reliable source, the Australian Wildlife Organisation. This makes the statistic a lot more believable. Let's look at another example. Sentence 1. Children should be encouraged to play a musical instrument. There's nothing incorrect about that statement. But in sentence 2, the same idea is conveyed with a lot more force. According to the head of the Australian Institute of Musicology, Jane Sinclair, when a child learns to play an instrument, it increases brain activity by 40%. Here we have a reliable source being cited, and then a statistic clearly encouraging the reader to think of children playing musical instruments as being desirable. Let's move on to the use of high modality. High modality are words that show certainty. Make it clear to the reader that you've made your mind up on this topic and that they should too. There are literally hundreds of these words, but let's look at a couple. Definite, certainly, entirely, unquestionably, impossible, never, always, absolutely, serious, obviously, undeniably, apparent. When we use these words in sentences, it makes the reader feel a lot more certain about what they're being told. Let's look at the first example. Lowering the voting age should improve our democratic processes. Should is low modality. It shows some level of uncertainty. In example 2, lowering the voting age will have the immediate impact of improving our democratic processes. This high modality expresses certainty and has a stronger impact on the reader. The second example, downloading films illegally is of some concern to the entertainment industry. Some concern makes it sound less serious. In example 2, downloading films illegally presents as a substantial threat to which the film industry must respond with decisive action. Let's look at repetition. Repetition helps you to keep driving your point home over and over. It's repeating words and phrases which are central to your position to reinforce your point. Here is an example. By building stronger schools, we build stronger students. By building stronger students, we build a stronger society. And through building a stronger society, we build a stronger and more prosperous nation. Here, the repetition of the word stronger makes these ideas resonate more strongly with the reader and also ties together the different ideas being presented. Here's another example. We can't sit by and allow this to happen. We can't abandon reason for superficiality. We can't afford to do this for the sake of future generations. The repetition of we can't is creating power inside this set of sentences. Let's look at use of pronouns. Pronouns should not be used in formal writing such as essays and reports. Pronouns are words that refer to people. So we, us, yours, ours, you. By including these, you make the reader appear that you're speaking to them directly, that the issue you're discussing relates to them. This is important to us. We must take action. The reader is involved in what you're talking about. Here's some example. This is a big issue. Of course, there's nothing wrong with that statement, but in the second example, the issue which we are confronted with is enormous. It includes the reader inside that sentence. It is up to us to make a difference. We cannot defer action to future generations. Those who oppose are uninformed. We must correct their thinking. All of these words include the reader in what's being spoken of. And finally, rhetorical questions. These are questions that encourage the reader to think. They're not to be used during formal writing, such as essays and reports. And here's some examples. How can we allow this to continue? Why have we allowed this to go on for so long? What will we tell future generations? How could this possibly be the case? Who could think this was reasonable? By leaving these questions open and posing them to the reader, we're encouraging them to think about what they're being told and to make their mind up or possibly change their mind. Okay. These are 5 techniques for writing persuasively. They may take a little while to master, but every time you've got an exposition or a persuasive task, try and include as many of these as you possibly can.